I wanted to do a quick video just to properly explain DeFi. There's a lot of misconceptions about exactly how DeFi works and what the relationship is between Ethereum and the tokens and the validators and the supply and yield farming and that kind of thing. So basically, here's how it works. So you have DeFi, and then you have the yield farming, and then you've got like a bunch of terms and some unregistered securities and some stuff, and then some people throw in money they're going to lose, and then you have some cake and fire, and there's DeFi.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day today. Well, it is actually a nice green day in the crypto markets. It is the weekend, so we know things can get a little bit crazy. Usually on Monday, we have some big surprises, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that. But we are seeing a nice green market. In fact, there are a lot of altcoins having a beautiful bounce back. Look at Chainlink. Chainlink was down around $8, now up to around $10.42 again. So what can we expect moving forward? Well, we're going to talk about that, but I also want to discuss the fact that Bitcoin was actually trying to break out again this morning. We got up to about 10,800, sitting about $100 lower than that point currently, but we do have some on-chain data I want to talk about. And the last time that we saw this happen, Bitcoin started a historic 1,500% rise. Now, I know what you're saying. Past performance doesn't necessarily indicate future results, but it is something we need to talk about, and it does relate to the Bitcoin miners. I also want to talk about the fact that we had KuCoin getting hacked. Now, you probably heard about this. We always talk about not your keys, not your coins. That's why you got to get your crypto on a hard wallet. But what I wanted to discuss was another reason why, despite that there is a lot of risks in DeFi, you do see a lot of people moving over to DeFi because they'd rather have their crypto in their own custody rather than a centralized exchange custody where you could basically get hacked, right? So I want to talk about that. Also, one product that could be absolutely groundbreaking in DeFi, and I finally want to end on a pretty interesting bill that's sort of being put forward in the US, and it could actually shake up crypto exchanges as well as crypto investments for US citizens. So is it good? Is it bad? We'll get into all that, and if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you are not subscribed, definitely consider it. We do give away a Ledger Nano S every Monday. Drop a comment if you are interested in entering for a chance to win. Without further ado, let's dive in. So, having a look right now at the charts, not much has changed, guys. We're still moving up on this trend. As long as we stay above this purple trend, really can't change my analysis too much. The one thing I am noticing right now at the time of making this video is that Bitcoin has actually sort of stopped and is hanging out around the heart line of this sideways sort of channel that Bitcoin's been trapped in. So that is right around the $10,700, with the lowest area being around $9,500 and the highest point being around $12K. Now, the one thing you can kind of say that might be a little bit bearish is the fact that we did get stomped out at the $10,830 level, which was that sort of previous resistance support we were trying to break for the CME futures. Of course, we do still have our gap, which I'm not going to go into. And, having a look right here, if we take sort of the bottom and the top, we are looking for a potential apex for the end of October. So it is possible that for the next month and a half, Bitcoin could basically, actually not a month and a half, more about a month, Bitcoin could just basically bounce around these levels, but we are looking for an absolutely explosive move right around the third week of October. So it could happen a little bit sooner, but if you're looking to accumulate and you are bullish on Bitcoin, like I think most of us are long term, you might want to accumulate now before that massive move in October, okay? Not financial advice, but just letting you guys know, we are looking for a big move then. Now, I want to talk about something that Ki Young Ju pointed out, and this is basically Miners Position Index. Now, he uses the 30-day moving average, and you can see we have data going all the way back to 2012, right? He basically says if Bitcoin miners still do drive the price, which we do tend to believe that, obviously a lot of these on-chain metrics matter. For example, even just fundamentals of miner inflows and outflows, as well as the hash rate. I mean, that is just an amazing indicator, right? You basically see right here that the next bull run, according to him, could be starting very soon. Now, if we have a look at previously what has happened, Miner Position Index has a very high hit rate in forecasting the bull bear market when the macro factors like stock market are not significant. Now, currently, we are in a bit of a tandem with traditional markets, right? We're in a bit of a black swan event right now where we are seeing gold and Bitcoin and everything else sort of moving together at the same time. But if this does indicate what has happened previously, then we could actually potentially be looking for the setup of a very, very big move. So could that be the move that we're anticipating third week of October? Could the stars possibly align? Well, one thing I want to point out interestingly is although we have seen gold and Bitcoin pretty much moving in a very similar move, gold goes up, Bitcoin goes up, gold goes down, Bitcoin goes down. But interestingly enough, Travis Kling over here actually put the Bitcoin to gold comparative. Now, I know this basically looks like the Bitcoin chart, but this is actually Bitcoin to gold. And you can see right here, the previous resistance, which, started here at the top, and pretty much every single time we ever got above it, we just got stomped out, stomped out, stomped out. Well, it looks like it has actually previously formed a bit of support. So is Bitcoin finally having that bullish sort of diversion from the gold, where it basically just follows whatever gold does? I don't know. Let me know, guys. Could be. Of course, it's just a line on a chart though, right? Could mean anything, but that's why we do TA, just to kind of give us ideas of what could potentially be happening moving forward. Now, you probably heard that popular trader and founder of Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy, has recently revealed that he actually bought $1.25 million worth of Bitcoin back when he had purchased it. Now, he did sell it for a loss. He freaked out, right? Following his exit, he did appear to have some withdrawals, claiming that his heart is in crypto. He will be back. Now, he did basically compare it to being just one giant Ponzi scheme, which wasn't the greatest thing ever. But he does say, I will get back into Bitcoin. I don't know when. I don't have much liquid, really. It's all invested. So kind of bad that he thinks it's just a giant Ponzi. Kind of good that he says he wants to get back in. Does he have weak hands? Well, you let me know how you feel about that. But, speaking about we used to go into more fundamentals on this channel a while ago, back during the real bear market, talking about the significance of Bitcoin and why we need things like Bitcoin. And here's just another story before we get into the rest of the video. We had data fetched from Paxful. If you're not familiar with them, they are a Bitcoin marketplace, and they actually showed that over in Belarus, you actually had a $2,500 premium trading on Bitcoin as of Friday, and Bitcoin was going for about $13,000 over there. So why are people in Belarus paying $13,000 for Bitcoin that's actually under $11,000 today? Well, without going into everything, they're basically in the middle of a severe political and civil unrest. Now, we have seen in the past that whenever we see a lot of these, we saw over in basically all these different countries that you have super high inflation, or you have a lot of this tension or political unrest, as they put it, sometimes you do see them turning to Bitcoin. So basically, they talk about the ongoing political turmoil, and according to local reports, people have started withdrawing money from the bank in mass. So basically, they're going on a bank run like we saw over in France, and blue-collar workers are going on strikes, and IT companies are actually planning to migrate to other places. And in the meantime, you are seeing Bitcoin premiums absolutely skyrocket from these areas, which actually shows that people are choosing to go into Bitcoin instead of staying in their local native currencies. So this is interesting how we do see this time and time again. We saw it in places like Argentina and Colombia and Turkey, right? And now we're seeing it over in Belarus as well. Very, very interesting. And, even just to point out, guys, I know that China tends to be pretty critical when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Well, you could see even over here, as China Central Television reported, cryptocurrency is the best performing asset around the year 2020 with an annual price increase of 70%, surprising investment products like gold and US stocks. And, even China, as much as they are very much anti-crypto, they've even come out and, had to basically admit, like, hey, crypto's doing pretty well. Bitcoin is the best performing asset of 2020, right? In the beginning of the year, we were about $7,000. Yeah, we had a pullback, but we're still sitting around 10,600, 10,700. Still very, very good performing asset. I know you guys all want to become millionaires overnight, right? Everybody wants to 10x, but realistically speaking, if you just have an asset that just appreciates over time, I mean, with a dollar, you're guaranteed to lose money, right? So that is that situation. Now, I do want to talk about not your keys, not your coins, KuCoin's red flags ignored. Well, we can go into this, but basically, in a nutshell, KuCoin got hacked. They are saying that they're going to, take care of all the funds with insurance. Hopefully, everybody will get their money back in some form or shape. But for everybody that was affected by this is why I say if you are not trading on an exchange, you need to take your crypto off. Put it on something like a hardware wallet, right? That way you own your own private keys. Now, of course, there are some risks involved with this. If you lose your private keys, well, then your money's lost forever. But if you leave it on a centralized exchange, you can get your coins hacked, right? Now, just so you guys know, I personally use Ledger Nano S's. That is what I use for pretty much everything. You can also use the Ledger Nano X. They have a Bluetooth, but I do want to tell you guys they do have a family pack you can get for 3 ledgers, and you can get up to 21% if you're interested, guys. I do have links below in the description for that. Obviously, if you use it, it does help to support the channel, but you guys are also getting 21% off family pack, so win-win for everyone. But this is exactly the reason why you are seeing articles like the hype is growing around the V3 upgrade for Ethereum's DeFi leading app Uniswap, right? Uniswap actually blew up this year. You had volume totally just blowing the centralized competition out of the water. And now in some of their upgrades, you basically see that they're expecting improvements over the previous iteration. And according to Jason Smith, it will eat Uniswap's V2's lunch, okay? Now, right now, there are some issues with decentralized exchanges. You can't really do limit orders. Basically, everything is a giant market order. There's crazy slippage, right? So sometimes you have to sit there and just do like little buys over long periods of time. Well, basically, they say that they're going to face these slippage and capital efficiency head on. No concrete details are being published, but they're also agreed on a layer 2 solution, which hopefully they'll be able to deploy this time around, which will make it faster, which will make gas prices cheaper. So we have seen a lot of competitors, but if Uniswap can roll this out quick, well, that would be quite interesting, right? Now, speaking about DeFi and things of that nature, I have spoken about Prime XBT, and they do have a copy trading platform, but this is a centralized copy trading platform, right? So as we're seeing this shift to decentralized products, I actually had a good friend of mine in the crypto space point out that there might actually be a potential groundbreaking product coming out, and that is actually this DEXI network, they're called. Now, this is DeFi social trading. So essentially, it's what you can do on centralized. And at first, I was like, why do we even need to have this decentralized? What's the point of it? But then when they broke it down, it actually opens up the doors to not only obviously having it be totally decentralized, but really what you're able to do is connect to all these different exchanges, right? So look at all these exchanges. Not only can you plug in DEXI for some of the centralized ones, but you also have Balancer, 1inch, DDEX, Bancor, Curve, Uniswap, Mooniswap, AirSwap, Switcheo, Bisq, and Diversify. And the interesting thing of what you can do is not only can you just copy trade a couple leverage trades using Bitcoin or something like that, you actually have access to literally all of the altcoins in existence, or at least minimally for now, all of the ERC20 tokens, right? And basically you just enter a smart contract into the trader, and what you do is you get, I believe the traders have their own tokens. By the way, this is way more complex. I'm just gonna water this down to the basics so you guys can understand how it works. But essentially, you're minted these sort of synthetic representations of the actual tokens that you're trading. So just to kind of give you an example, you can copy that trader's address, right? So they would enter into the contract using like a MetaMask or whatever they want into one Ethereum address, and then you would copy that address, because these are things that can all be done via smart contracts. And essentially anything this trader does, say he bought Uniswap and then decides to sell Uniswap for a profit. Well, you would have that same exact transaction, happening through the smart contract with your tokens as well. So this actually opens the door to, let's say, somebody who is a really savvy altcoin trader, right? Somebody who, basically doesn't do any trading on futures or derivatives. Let's say they just strictly buy and sell altcoins and they're really good at it. You could actually copy exactly what that trader is doing. So actually, this does open the door to some pretty incredible opportunities, especially for altcoin trading. And yeah, I was actually pretty blown away by this. Plus, they actually have a lot of support from people I'm very familiar with, including our good old buddies Orion Protocol. So that definitely got on my radar as well. And interestingly enough, they have one of the most insane token sale structures I've ever seen, which, by the way, guys, this is not like saying you should get in on the token sale. Nothing like that. This has nothing to do with getting into it. I just wanted to let you guys know what these guys are doing, and they're actually creating the value for the token. You can see they're actually running the token for 22 days, and it goes, every round is 24 hours. You'll receive daily dynamic staking rewards when they hold the tokens. After every finished round of the token sale, participants have to claim their tokens. In the first round, there's 20%, etc. Each participant will have the option to deposit the sum he wants. But it's interesting because some of the utility of the tokens include programmed redemption, control over the treasury, use of the token by holders for casting a ballot, the time span and adjustment of the percentage of the tokens are burned, effect on the number of tokens. They have like farming as well, voting rights, and you can kind of see a little bit of how the distribution is going to be handled over here. But look, they have staking rewards, and the interesting thing is, based on the performance of the token, you can actually unlock. So if the token goes 7x from the formed average prices of round 2 to 10, you can unlock 10%. If it goes 10x, you have 15%, 15x, 20%, 20x, you have 30%, and all of the fees will be burned. So keep in mind, this is very similar to like the LTO structure. Now, LTO had an extremely successful launch because they had the bridge troll, right? Anytime you wanted to move your tokens out, you'd have to basically pay the fee, right? So that was sort of incentive for hodlers, and they also have farming as well, and you will be eligible to receive farming rewards after the product launch. So definitely keep your eyes on this, guys. It looks like it could be interesting. The DEXI network, for anybody out there, if you're using things, for example, like Prime XBT, you like copy trading, now you're going to basically be opened up to a whole world of different trading. So I think it's interesting. I think it's something to keep your eyes on. Does this mean the token's going to go up because it's a cool concept? Not too sure, but I do know that right now these guys already do have their product out, not fully available. It is in private testing, but they already have something ready to go, ready to roll out, and they should be having the copy trading coming out extremely soon. So keep your eyes on it, guys. Like I said, could be an interesting one. And finally, I want to end on this big news for US. Now, speaking of, actually one of the biggest complaints that I have as being a US citizen and from a lot of people on the channels is we cannot get into any sales. US people are not allowed to get into these sales, or at least I guess technically we could, but there's like a lot of gray areas, and most of these people doing these token sales don't even really want to get involved with US because it's really gray and it's complicated. And we've also seen, T.I. the rapper just got hit. We saw Unicorn Gold from Mark Cuban got hit. Well, check this out. Now you have the Securities Clarity Act aiming to give digital tokens a specific and unique legal framework that is currently absent from the U.S. regulatory regimen. So is this going to be good or bad for U.S. citizens? Well, stick around and we'll figure it out. Well, the proposed law seeks to create a new definition of security laws to specifically exclude cryptocurrency tokens from what is defined as a security. Should it be passed, it would create a new legal category called investment contract asset. Effectively, this would separate the sale of the token from the investment contract itself. This would exclude token projects from the Howey test, right? Which has been the biggest sort of decider of whether or not a token is a security. Now, keep in mind, the Howey test, this thing was not designed for digital assets. This is a dinosaur of a way of deciding if something is a security, right? And it has been a thorn in the side of many blockchain companies. This also addressed a major pain point that frequently has been brought up by SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce, who's right here in this picture, and she has long criticized the rigidity of the Howey test, right? Crypto Mom, if you know who I'm talking about. Basically, she says that this is stifling innovation. She says, I think it's really making it impossible for projects to get started without falling into the Howey definition. The Howey test has been quite useful framework for us to think about whether an investment contract is in fact a security, but it does lead to some really interesting questions about whether things that none of us might have thought as securities are actually securities. And the other thing is, think about it. You could go to Las Vegas. You could put your entire basically your entire bank account on black and roll it, right? And you could lose all your money. You can go and buy scratch offs, right? Or scratchers, as some people call it, and lose all your money. You can gamble. You can do all these things, but yet for some reason in the US, heaven forbid you buy a token, right? Okay, yeah, you know what? Some of these guys are scams, right? But that's the risk that you take, right? So hopefully when they move forward with this, there will be sort of that ease of strict investment regimen for US citizens. I mean, look, guys, at the end of the day, we're all big boys and big girls. We can pull up our pants and we can make our own investments. And you know what? If we make bad investments or poor choices or buy things without doing our research, that's kind of our own problem. And I do appreciate the fact that the SEC wants to protect everybody, but at the same time, sometimes it does sort of stifle innovation, at least in the US, as far as especially these startups. I mean, even not so much just for the investor, but for the startup alone, very difficult for these guys to really break into those US markets, especially with fundraising. They always have to take things overseas, right? So let me know what you think about that below in the description, in the comments. And that's basically it for today. So like I said, guys, I can't stress it enough. Please get your hands on a Ledger Nano S or X. Please get your crypto off the exchanges. If you are not actively trading, why are your cryptocurrencies on exchanges? Okay, they just end up getting hacked and people freak out, and yeah, it's not fun. So that being said, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. I love you. You're awesome. Check out the free Telegram group below. Check out the links in the description and in the pinned comments. And of course, it is the weekend, so yeah, Monday's probably going to get a little bit crazy. So that is it, guys. Thank you again. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto, and of course, peace out.